Hi everyone. I'm not sure if anybody is live here. Is alive. I am live and I'm feeling very much alive and very excited to be here for our first live streaming video on Sonia Elhaj coaching. If you are live, can you please let me know in the comments or just send me a little hello or a reaction or something? You're very welcome to comment with questions as well, and then I will address the questions at the end of the video. So I'm just gonna make sure that everything is set. All right. So please do let me know that you're live, just with a hello. If you do not want to post any questions publicly, please, you're very welcome to message me with questions on the page. All right, so let's get started. Welcome, and this is Sonia Elhaj here, certified coactive life and career coach, and founder of the Free Butterfly Tribe here on Facebook. This is my very first live streaming, and I'm very, very excited. And you will see me looking this way quite a bit, but that's because I want to cover everything that I want to cover today. So I'm going to be taking a look at my notes a few times. So today's topic is perfectionism. Ooh. And I did not choose this topic randomly. It wasn't random at all. I chose it probably for two main reasons. Number one is that I meet people all the time, clients, people I talk to, people I know very well for years, who stay stuck sometimes for months, several months or several years or a lifetime in a place where they don't want to be because of perfectionism. And what a loss, you know, of a lifetime sometimes, of not living the life you want to live. I can see someone is online. I'm not sure, so please say hi. So yes, so that's our topic, perfectionism. And the other reason is I chose this topic is because I want to lead by example here. Live streaming and giving content and impacting people through my my coaching practice and through Facebook here is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And perfectionism kept me from doing it. Today I am showing up. I'm saying no to perfectionism. I'm showing up without any perfect hair or perfect makeup or perfect readiness for the topic. Nothing is perfect about today, but the thing is, it feels perfect. It feels wonderful, and I'm very, very excited. So without further ado, let's kind of dive into the topic more in depth. So before I continue talking about perfectionism, I want to make a distinction between two things. And they are two words, perfection and perfectionism. Now, these are two very, very different things. And I'm going to try to do it quite quickly here. Perfection. Perfection could be someone's personal value. We have, as human beings, we have, all of us are born with values. And values are things that make us feel alive and wonderful and free and fulfilled and happy when we are honoring those values and living by them. So for example, some of my core values are movement. And some of you who know me very well know that about me. Connection, love, and all of those things. So as a personal value, perfection may mean feeling perfect about something. It's attached to a good feeling. It's not about wanting something that is not there. So as an example, for me, for example, one of the things that is perfection for me is being on the beach on a nice, clear, sunny day, cool day, and walking around, soaking in the sun, and listening to the waves, and just kind of soaking in that whole place, you know, the whole thing. And that makes me feel good, very simply. To me, it's perfection. So it's one of those things. It may be the same for you and many other things. Now, so that's one thing. Perfection can be a personal value, and it can be attached to a good feeling. It has to be attached to a good feeling. It has to make you feel good. Now, let's go to the other one, which is perfectionism. Perfectionism is about, if we give it like a quick dictionary definition, it's about keeping ourselves, choosing to keep myself from what I want. Whether it's, for example, today, live streaming and talking about interesting topics, inspiring people, wanting to find another job, wanting to ask someone out, wanting to have an important conversation with your boss or spouse or someone, wanting to learn a new language, wanting to, I don't know, it could be anything that you're really craving, you're really wanting to do, you're really dying to do it. And the thought of doing it is so wonderful and exciting and freeing. And yet you keep yourself from that because of perfectionism, because you attach it to something that is ideal, that doesn't exist. And you say to yourself, I'm not going to do it because, and you start giving excuses. So for example, it's not the perfect time, it's not the perfect place, it's not the perfect economy, I don't have the right age for this, I'm not in the right relationship, I don't have enough money, I'm not enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. So some of the excuses I may have made, or I can still make, you know, to stop me from doing this live streaming is, for example, oh, my hair is not done, or what would people think about me? Or maybe people will not like it, or nobody's going to be watching live, or only one person will be live, joining live. So all kinds of excuses. And yet, I did it anyway. I chose the imperfect action of doing it. And that is much more expensive and much more, it just feels so good, you know, to take imperfect action and make something happen that you want to have happen, than to give into perfectionism. So, okay, let's go back. And so we distinguished between perfection and perfectionism. So let's stay with perfectionism now and think about the reasons why we do this to ourselves. Why do we resort to perfectionism every time we want something? By the way, anybody who's watching live, I can see people, but you know, I cannot see people. So please feel free to post comments, say hi. I'm not seeing any comments in the comment section. I'm not sure whether you are commenting, but I guess we will see. We will have better command over this technology the second time. It will be more perfect. Okay, so going back to our topic, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we delay things? I broke down the excuses, the reasons why we do this to ourselves, we are perfectionists, to three things, or three levels, let's say. There are many reasons, but you know, just three things why we do this. Number one, I would say, is the lack of knowledge of myself and what my limiting beliefs are. When you don't know who you are at your best, you tend to focus on what's not, supposedly what is not good with me, what's not right with me, how I'm not good enough. And you just kind of, thank you, Muhammad, thank you, hi. So we focus on the limitations. It's simply because we do not know what makes us the best at what we are and at what we do. So it's lack of knowledge of ourselves. So we're always thinking, oh, there's someone better than me, or there's someone who will do this better, and so I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't take that chance, because I'm not good enough. And it's not, and that's simply not true. In each of us, there is a great person waiting to be unleashed. And perfectionism is one of the biggest reasons why that person, that great person, that best version of yourself stays stuck, stays hidden. Okay, number 2, lack of clarity. So when we don't have clarity on what our goals are, who we are, what we want, we tend to fill time with just anything, any action. We tend to fill time with goals that aren't even ours. They come from someone else. Please give me a goal. Please let me, follow you in what you're doing. We are trying to just fill with busyness. So we're not really clear on what we want and where we're going. So when we do that, we're not really connected to those actions and those goals that we are running after. And when those things are outside of ourselves, what happens is we start seeking validation from outside of ourselves. So when we seek validation from outside of ourselves, from other people, when we're waiting to be accepted by someone else, we tend to never accept who we are, and we tend to always seek, we tend to always shield ourselves with perfectionism. Oh no, I'm not ready, etc., etc., etc. And we start giving those excuses. So, hi Suraya. Okay, very good. Now, let's continue to the third reason, and why we seek perfection, why we may be perfectionists in our lives. And that is probably, I see it as the deepest reason, which is the lack of love of ourselves, lack of self-love. And I know this is a bit more difficult to grasp, to really accept. People always say, I love myself. But in this context, when we are always finding excuses and procrastinating, procrastination means delaying, taking action, delaying, for example, studying for that exam, or going to the gym if you want to, be healthier, more fit, etc., etc., etc. That's procrastination. The underlying belief why we do that, why we procrastinate, is the belief, the wrong belief, that I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough to get this, to change, to be fitter, to get that whatever, house, relationship, car, whatever it is, dream that you want. Okay. Hi Sammy. Salut. So for example, this live video, it's my first, again, for those who missed the beginning, this is my very first live video. And with this act of doing this imperfect video and not being perfectly ready for it, this is an act of love for myself. It's an act of love, of self-love, in that I'm accepting who I am and accepting the message I am ready to give to the world, to my beloved community, to people who are wanting that inspiration and that message. So it's an act of love and acceptance of me. Okay, so let's move on. Time is really, really flying today. Okay, so we're gonna move on now. We talked about what perfection is and distinguished it from perfectionism as a problem, more of an issue, limiting thing or pattern. And then we talked about the reasons why we may use perfectionism in our lives and maybe relationships and careers and all of that. I hope you can hear me really well. Please let me know in the comments section. Also, again, if you have any questions about perfectionism or anything related to the topic today, please do put them in the comments section. Okay, so I'm going to, before I talk about, let's say, solutions, for lack of a better term, I'm going to talk about why we need to understand or why perfectionism can be damaging to us. Because many people would say, oh, well, okay, what's wrong with being a perfectionist? I can be a perfectionist, you know? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ramifications, what happens, consequences, how this affects us. Thank you, Sami. I will answer comments as soon as we finish the video. Thank you. So why perfectionism and how it can be damaging? Okay. So perfectionism is attached directly to our limiting beliefs. Our limiting beliefs tell us that we are not good enough. We are not allowed to make mistakes. It pushes us to confuse our self-worth, self-love, and identity with how much we know, how much we achieve, how much money we make, our degrees, our achievements, etc., etc. And and because of that, we never get to the point where we believe that we are enough. This may come from upbringing, from how we grew up. It can come from school. It can come from the workplace, our relationships with bosses, with sometimes spouses, etc., etc., etc. And it doesn't mean it's true, but this happens all the time. We get used to the idea, to the false idea that if you don't do enough, you're not enough. You don't deserve love. And this couldn't be further from the truth. We are all love beings. We are all deserving of love. And we do not have to work to earn love. It's our birthright. And so we go back to the damage this brings about, perfectionism. So when we grow with that idea, what happens is we create an ideal that doesn't exist. So it doesn't exist. Perfection, something perfect, a perfect person, it doesn't exist. So what happens is we start, we create this ideal that doesn't exist. And then we start working harder and harder and harder and harder to prove, to get to that ideal that doesn't exist. And then we become exhausted and tired because we will never get there because it doesn't exist. And two things happen here. Number one, we live under pressure to please people, to overgive. And this happens a lot with women. It happens with men, but it happens a lot with women because of many reasons: their nature, their upbringing, socialization, because they're nurturing. So we are predisposed to overgive and to please people at our own expense. And number two, shame. When we grow up with the idea that you have to be perfect, and you have to be perfect all the time, that you have to be something that doesn't exist, something that you're not, because in fact you're human, you're not perfect. So we grew up with that shame. So we're always seeking, trying to get validation from people, from outside sources. We get used to that pattern of not connecting inside to ourselves and really connecting to our inner leadership, what makes us strong, what makes us good, what makes us loved, what makes us deserving, what makes us great. But we start looking for outside reasons, outside of us, to prove that we're not perfect, we're not deserving, we're not good enough, etc., etc. Okay, so this is extremely limiting to us as human beings, and it's not supposed to be that way. Okay, so I think that brings us to the last part, which is, let's say, solutions, although I don't like the word solutions. What we're doing today here is more of awareness raising. Perfectionism is something, an energy or something that is inside all of us. It's not a problem, it's a pattern. And if we choose to stay stuck in perfectionism, it becomes extremely damaging. So it's not really a problem, because the idea of problem has judgment attached to it. So I prefer that you see this with love towards yourself and become more aware and start looking at how to relieve this or alleviate this idea of perfectionism. The idea is to feel good, not to be judged, and to feel that, oh, I have another problem I have to deal with. No, it's not like that. So, so the last part, where can I start? Let's say, I am always in this place of perfectionism. I can't start projects, I can't finish projects, I cannot bring myself to achieve something or to connect to someone because I am afraid of failing. I'm afraid of making a mistake. This is a huge one, huge. People are so terrified, frightened about making mistakes. And it's extremely human. But what is also more human than that is progress. The fact that we are human. And as a human being, you are progress. You equal progress. We are always in motion. We're always evolving. So there is no destination. It's a process. Life is a process. We're always in movement. We're always growing. And perfectionism really, really, really is something that blocks that progress. It blocks the natural cycle of things, the natural process of things. So you are progress. So yes, you are your successes, your degrees, your achievements, your job, your money, your degrees, etc., etc. But you are also your failures and your mistakes. Yeah? So our failures and our mistakes are where we learn, are where we get wisdom. They are also what allows us to become more confident if we choose to see them that way. So I'm going to give you now a little exercise, and I would love if you share your successes around this, if you share any feedback about this, if you do this in the comments, or if you want to share as a private message, you're very welcome, of course. Hi, Muhammad. Yes, so here's the little exercise, and feel free, whoever didn't join us from the beginning, to watch the replay. So here goes the exercise, and I will also post it on the page and on the tribe. The exercise is kind of an inquiry exercise. that kind of, asks you to look at yourself, at your experience with life and with perfectionism. And it's made of 4 questions. I want you to focus on one failure, one big failure in your life, okay? And it could be anything. We all had failures. And I invite you to start this process of healing with yourself. It's a process of forgiveness. It's the beginning of forgiveness. Starting to look at that failure in a different way, from a different perspective, will allow you and help you to start healing. So, first question A. What did you learn from this failure? And what wisdom came out of this failure for you? Yeah. B. How did you grow and change as a person from this failure? If you say, oh, nothing, Sonia, no, it was horrible. Yes, it may have been horrible at the time, and yet it happened for a reason, for a very good reason. And you are alive now, and you are here, and chances are you are a bigger person, a more evolved version of who you are because of that failure, thanks to that failure. So it's really up to you. It's your choice to learn and grow through that failure, okay? All right, C. What may open up for you? What may happen? What are the possibilities? What may open up if you do take that imperfect action that you are dying to take? Like, for example, me today. I took the imperfect action of doing this live streaming, although I didn't feel ready. But my feeling of not being ready is much more smaller than my huge feeling of expansion and love and positivity and inspiration and excitement about doing it. So so what will open up? What may happen? What will be freed? What will be launched? And released maybe for you. If you do take that imperfect action that you've been wanting to take, with the purpose of making something happen. Okay, and D, which is the 4th question, this is future or forward-looking. What will happen if you do choose to stay stuck in perfectionism right now? If you choose to stay stuck here, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, for the rest of your life, what will happen? What will happen? I want you to really face that. Look at it. What will happen? And feel free to share with me, of course. And I would love to hear your insights, comments, questions. Yeah, thank you for those who joined live. And this brings us to almost the end of the video. I really enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoyed it too, and that you will join us for the next one next week. So this brings us to the last part, which is, hi Soraya again. Hi Claudia. To finish this, I will share with you 2 things. Please don't forget that my free butterfly tribe is up and running, and a group of wonderful, amazing women are on the tribe already. There will be content and support and events happening on that page, on that group, exclusive for the members of that group. So do join us and invite people to join, and let's create something together, something wonderful together. So it's the free butterfly group, and you can find it on Facebook easily. And number 2, thank you for the likes. Yay! Hi, Raymond. And lastly, I want to just give you a very, very quick reminder that only 4 days, barely 4 days are left to take advantage of my 3-month program, personal coaching, individual coaching program for women who have or are going through the experience of divorce, breakup, or separation, and who hasn't. This is a program that is meant to help and support women free themselves from all the wrong ideas that are keeping them stuck and prisoner to that place of perfectionism and other things that we will be talking about in the future over the next weeks and months. So 50% discount, that's huge, and it's only applicable until November 15th. So time is running. So do get in touch with me with any questions. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, and invite them to join us for the next live video. We will be covering various topics, and I will be inviting you to ask questions and even interact with me online, through the comments section. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, so I'm really excited, and I want to finish with saying this. I took an imperfect action today. I said no to perfectionism, and I said yes to freedom. And this is what's happening. I was planning 5 minutes, and it's half an hour. I feel so good right now. I feel so happy, so free. And I want to do this again, again now in 5 minutes, but I won't. So please go back and watch the whole thing and allow it to inspire you. I hope you like it. I loved it. I loved spending this time with you. I will post the exercise questions here in the comments and elsewhere on the group. And yeah, that's me. I will say bye for now. I'm off to a yoga class, and I hope you would join us next time live. Lots of love to you. Bye. Sonia here. Bye-bye.